when you go to these job interviews, what all the employers say, what do you want to be? And they say, I want to be a salesman. And they go, why do you want to be a salesman? They go,
One of Britain's best-loved broadcasting voices, sociologist and humanist, Professor Laurie Taylor, former head of sociology at York University and lifelong Liverpool supporter. For the teaching challenge, we have brought him to North London to teach a form class headed by Wendy Whalen.
So you're really fortunate, boys, to have somebody quite famous coming in, Professor Laurie Taylor. He's a writer and broadcaster, and he's visiting John Kelly to do a communications lesson with you.
I never heard of him. Professor Laurie Taylor. I don't really know him. I think he was a journalist or a book writer or something. And he taught in some school. I don't know what the school name is.
The stranger is a man with no fame for this class. So how does he plan to create a useful and memorable experience for the pupils?
Welcome to John Kelly, boys.
thank you very much. Because I don't know anything about it, because I just got told yesterday. So I said, this is the school we're going to. So tell me something about it, Wendy.
Okay, they're a Year 10 class. There will be about 22 boys, 20 boys. They're very chatty.
Well, that's good, because you see, what I thought I was going to talk about was really about talking and about how much time they spend talking, because I just looked at a thing the other day about how now, like working class kids who aren't sort of like middle class, working class kids now, suddenly their chances of getting into middle class jobs are getting less and less, because there's much more emphasis now in jobs on communication skills. You like more middle class people who, put more emphasis upon talking, if you like, talk more at home perhaps, I've trained to talk a bit more, spend more time talking. They're getting the jobs. So what I wanted to do is to see how much they talked.
I think they talk lots. The thing they don't do is listen.
As Professor Taylor takes a last-minute glance at his lesson plan, Wendy takes up position next door to monitor the class.
Hi, well, good morning. My name's Laurie Taylor, and I'm just here to talk to you this morning. But I've got to give you some names first. You'll have to put up with me if I get the pronunciation wrong anyway. But I've got, first of all, is Pritam here. Pritam, can I just give you, if I give you that just to stick on, so I'll know your name when I come round. I've got Hashil here.
It's good that he's putting a face to the names, and his pronunciation of the names is good as well.
Well, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk really about talking and about listening. And I want to start off by asking you, what do you think, if you asked people, what's the most frightening thing that you could do, that you could think of? What would frighten you most? Yeah.
Being in one room with a snake.
Yeah, snakes, that's terrifying. Yeah, okay. So, okay, yeah, sure.
Scuba diving.
Scuba diving. Scuba diving, yeah, okay. Does anybody think that's frightening, scuba diving?
No. Yes.
I'm going to tell you what, you haven't got it yet.
Public speaking.
Well done. Who said that? Yeah, good. Okay, Sanjay, that's right. Public speaking. You say to people, what's the thing that will frighten you most? It's standing up on a stage in front of an audience and speaking. Now, the funny thing is, when I was at school, I was really no good at anything at all. I didn't get into university at all. But there was only one thing I ever did that was good, because we had a teacher, and he used to say, right, everybody has got to get up and make a 1-minute speech. Now, hardly anybody could do it. People would stand up and they'd say, Now, I stood up, and they said, I can still remember, he said to me, you've got to talk for 1 minute about biscuits. And I thought, 1 minute about bloody biscuits? Only about biscuits. I remember I stood up and I said, well, biscuits, you get biscuits this shape, and round biscuits, and sweet.
He's sharing his own experiences of education, which the boys will be interested in.
At the end, he said, very, very good. And I thought, no one ever said very good about anything I'd ever done. I thought, at last, very good. So really, what I did for all my life, I went on talking. And then I went and I started doing some drama. I stood on the stage, started acting around, walking in, talking, And then I got into radio. And then I started going talking to businesses, corporate, great big, I've spoken to 3,000 people, I'm not just telling you how good I am, I'm just telling you how daft it is. Because all these people talking, and then I now go around and I do little joke things. I do a little bit of stand-up comedy going around universities. And all of that from that 1 minute when I suddenly thought, gosh, I can talk a bit in public. Now, I wonder, and you know what's coming next, I wonder if any of you feel that you could talk for a minute. How many people here? You could talk for 1 minute. Okay, I've got a microphone here.
He's challenging them now, and the boys love a challenge. So he's got volunteers. But somebody has a stripy jumper on. You should have made sure that all the boys are in correct school uniform.
But will the jumper slow him down? Let's find out.
Okay, off you go.
Talk about school. Nearly there's every school in within say 10 to 20 miles in radius. There's school helps you get in the future. There's many subjects you could take: maths, English, science, engineering, etc., etc. Some people enjoy it, some people don't. Some people bunk, some people smoke.
30 seconds.
I enjoy school. I'm sure everyone else does. Some people can't be bothered. It's fun. The teachers make it fun. There's a lot of exciting things. You get to play. It's fun, really. But some people find it boring. Yeah, that's it.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, and I like John Kelly, and I like seeing what's happening in the future. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. It took a long time, that minute, didn't it? Was it a long time? Did any of you notice that when he was talking, something different about when he was talking, something different from when he was talking to the way I'm talking to you now? What was slightly different about what? Yeah. What was he doing?
He was looking up.
He was looking up. He wasn't looking directly at you. When people say about talking in public, one of the frightening things they say is that the worst thing is people's eyes. Now we'll have one more because I mean, you wanted to talk, didn't you, Gulkan? Okay.
Yeah.
So Gulkan,
This is good because it's one of our EAL students. He hasn't been in the country that long, and he's been encouraged to speak in front of a group like this, which is great for him.
And we'll start round about now.
Okay, the reason I support Man U because I know they're the best. Okay, they have the best players in the world, in my opinion, and they're top of the Premier League right now, then the Champions League and in the FA Cup right now. And they have the second highest scorer in the Premiership, who is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's Portuguese. Shut up, man. He is Portuguese. Yeah, don't forget he's Portuguese.
Yeah. You've got 15 seconds.
We have some village guy. He's new, but he can't play football and he doesn't speak English. That's a disadvantage, okay? Because the people have difficulties communicating with him and that.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much. Give him a clap. I think that's great. Well done. Well, I think that was good. So what do you want to say about him? Because I mean, I thought Gulkan looked.
He needs to be careful now that he gets the boys back and gets their attention back. That's probably as well as he could with the sitting arranged in that way.
I looked at a thing the other day. It was some statistics, and what it showed was that fewer and fewer people from backgrounds which weren't privileged were getting jobs. And there's only one reason why it is that people from less advantaged backgrounds aren't getting the jobs, and it's one reason: because of lack of communication skills, because they can't talk very well. You see, I wonder that you have time to talk, because I want to ask you this, because somebody said the reason is that people don't have time to talk because they've got so many other things to do. I mean, how many of you here regularly send texts? I mean, how many send texts? How many send texts? 1, 2...
I think he should try and get more from the boys rather than just having them put their hand up, and maybe trying to find out when will they have time to interact with each other, because he could do some group work or some pair work. And this really should have started by now.
I wonder, if you don't talk very much, how you get to know people well. Now, I just want to ask, looking at this class, I want to find out the two people who know each other least well. Shall I take Sanjay here? Now, Sanjay here. Who doesn't know anything about Sanjay at all? You don't know anything about Sanjay? You've no idea anything about... You don't know each other at all? OK. Well, I'm going to ask you to come and find out something about Sanjay. I'm going to ask you, Ewas, I'm going to ask you to interview him. OK? So, Sanjay, we need a chair out here. We just need a couple of chairs out here. Here's one chair.
After 20 minutes of addressing the class from the front, Professor Taylor decides to involve the pupils in a role-play session as themselves.
OK, so we'll make it about 2 minutes. OK, is that all right?
Yep.
Great, you're very good. Away you go.
Okay, Sanjay, how old are you?
I'm 14.
And which country are you from?
I'm from Kenya.
And what do you enjoy doing?
I like playing tennis.
Tennis?
Yeah.
Do you watch it?
Yeah.
What do you do at lunch times and break times?
I play patball or football.
And do you watch football?
No, not really.
Not really. Do you support a football team or anything?
No.
Now, Sanjay, you're doing great. You're doing great. Absolutely great. But it's quite difficult getting Sanjay to tell you much, isn't it? He's answering. Is there a question you think of you could ask Sanjay which might force him to say something a bit more?
What do you do at home all day?
I just watch TV, really.
Nothing else?
No, not really.
Do you play computer?
No.
Anything? Do you enjoy being at home?
No.
Why don't you enjoy being at home?
Because no one talks to me at home.
Do you know, I think that we'll stop there.
I'm not sure if he knows exactly what he expects to achieve by the end of the lesson, and I don't think that the boys know either.
See, I think that sort of is a way of finding out about a real person. Because here's a person who's just across the room from you. You spend days with them, and you never know anything about them. But unless you talk, you don't know. Now, the other thing I want to say, that people are always saying to you, you must think, aren't they? They're always saying, oh, think, 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 think. Now, I reckon if you don't talk, it's very difficult to think. There's a book I read once in which one person says, I never know what I think till I hear what I say. You know, have you ever found yourself in an argument and you're arguing and you think, I didn't know I believed this. You're going, no, this is wrong, I'm telling you. And you think, I didn't know I believed that. And you walk away afterwards, you thought, I didn't know I believed all that, but I've just said it. It makes you realise what you believe. Now, I just want to ask you about arguments. Any of you had an argument recently? Not punch-up, but an argument. What was your argument about?
Who's got a bigger backside?
Who's got a bigger backside? Yeah. And did you win?
Obviously.
Any other argument? Can you remember? Yeah. Can you remember having an argument?
I wonder what the boys think he means by the word argue, whether he thinks they have disputes and argue in that way, or whether they think he's talking about discussion.
Drawing expertly from the lexicon of effective communication, Laurie concludes his lesson with the concept, leave him laughing.
Anyway, so who knows a joke? Who knows a joke? Awas? OK, we'll let Awas do it then, shall we? OK. All right, I'm going to introduce him. OK, so you're off the stage. OK, come off stage here with me, Awas.
This is the same boy. This is about the 4th time that he's chosen this boy.
This boy was being harassed by his mum and dad, and he got taken to court. They asked him, would you like to live with your dad? He said no, because he beats me up. They asked him, would you like to live with your mum? He said no, because she beats me up as well. They said to him, who would you like to live with? And he said, I would like to live with the English cricket team because they can't beat nobody.
Well done. Very, very good. Well done. Excellent. I think that was very, very good. I just want to say to you, though, I think there is something great about talking to each other, but the most important thing, perhaps, when all those people go banging on and say, you've got to have better communication skills, and you think, oh, no, not again, not again. But better communication skills, all it is really is just having the guts occasionally, instead of texting, instead of going on MSN, instead of sort of making a mobile phone call, to go and talk. And to learn to talk, because talking is just like everything. It's like swimming, like football, it requires practice. And if you practice, Now, in the world today, there are some very good jobs waiting for people with communication skills. So good luck, and thank you very much for being so great with me this morning. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
It's all over. Time is up. The class moves on, and a purposeful Miss Wayland arrives to give Professor Taylor his debrief.
Hi. Pleased to see you. It's the end. It's the end.
How do you think it went?
I was surprisingly nervous, but not surprisingly nervous because, in a way, seeing them there made me feel so much older than I usually feel. You know, I suddenly thought, as I was coming over here in the car, I thought I've got no connection with them. You know, I mean, I just know from reading what they look at and what they do on their computers and things like that. But so I think my nervousness made me. I was a bit too pushy. I needed to relax just a little tiny bit more, give them a bit more time.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that there was lots and lots of it came from you when you could have handed it over to them a bit more.
Yeah.
By the end of the lesson, were you happy that you'd met your objectives?
What I wanted to do was, first of all, establish how difficult it was to talk face to face.
Yes.
Then to make them realise they spent very little time talking face to face. They spent most of their time online. And then to try to see if they made the connection between the difficulty of talking face to face. It was so much easier online that if they stayed online, they'd miss out on learning how to talk to each other, which was pretty important for jobs. That was the trajectory I wanted to go through, you know, to get talking a bit more.
Well, you could have allowed them to do a bit more pair work.
Yeah. That's me. I just, you know, when I get nervous, I just talk. You know, I can't. That really is my nerves. You know, I think it's going to all fall apart.
Well, you were definitely entertaining. They were captivated by you.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether the outcomes that you expected happened.
No, probably that's right.
Our guest teacher might believe that he could have done better, but what do his pupils think?
I think that when I do assembly, I'm confident that I would be able to speak up just by learning from him, and he was really good. He was really, really good.
He knows quite a lot, and he can crack jokes to him. The other teachers, they're a bit boring. Yeah. He taught me to be courageous and not to just say small stuff and be squeaky and all that.
I'm very glad it's over, really, and I just imagined that I had to go and do another 5 lessons after that. I'd actually forgotten the mechanics of how hard it was, you know, being able to look at everybody and take everybody in. Afterwards, they were all, well, you get paid for talking, you know, and I said, well, yeah, sounding my mouth off at the drop of a cheque, you know. I mean, really, I suppose they knew about comedians and stand-up and all that sort of stuff, but they didn't realise there were people who went around and made a living just shouting their mouth off.